On the evening of May 15, 2023, in a quiet neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia, police were called to investigate a disturbance at a modest family home. Inside, they discovered something no one expected. A mother, Denise Carter, was found lifeless on the floor, and sitting nearby was her daughter, LaToya Bennett. To millions of followers on TikTok, LaToya was the picture of success, a young woman with charm, talent, and a seemingly perfect life. Her videos, filled with energy and creativity, made her a rising star. But behind the bright lights of her camera and the applause of her fans, something else had been happening. What could have led to this moment? Was it a terrible mistake, or was there more to the story? As the investigation unfolded, shocking details emerged, raising questions about the true relationship between LaToya and her mother. This is the story of LaToya Bennett, the influencer whose fame took a backseat to a crime that would leave a lasting impact. What really happened behind the closed doors of their home? Let's uncover the truth. LaToya Bennett was born and raised in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. She was an only child, growing up in a modest but loving home. Her mother, Denise Carter, worked long hours as a nurse at a local hospital. Despite her demanding job, Denise was always present for LaToya, attending every school play, dance recital, and community event. To those who knew them, Denise and LaToya were inseparable, a mother and daughter duo that seemed unbreakable. LaToya was known in her neighborhood for her vibrant personality and ambition. In high school, she excelled academically and was an active member of the dance team. Her passion for performing was clear from a young age. When TikTok became popular, LaToya quickly saw it as an opportunity to combine her love of dance and her dream of being noticed. At just 16, she began posting videos, which quickly gained traction for their creativity and energy. Denise supported LaToya every step of the way. She often appeared in her daughter's TikToks, smiling and dancing, even though she didn't fully understand the platform. For Denise, her daughter's happiness and success mattered most, and she worked overtime to provide LaToya with everything she needed to thrive, including new outfits and equipment for her growing online presence. But as LaToya's fame grew, so did the demands of her new life. Her follower count soared to the millions, and brands began offering sponsorships. The world saw LaToya as confident and radiant, but those closest to her started noticing a change. The pressure to maintain her image was immense, and her once warm relationship with her mother became strained. Neighbors recalled hearing arguments that started as small disagreements, about curfews, finances, and the time LaToya spent on her phone, but over time, these confrontations became more frequent and intense. Denise, who worked tirelessly to keep their household running, began expressing concern about LaToya's priorities. Friends noticed that LaToya often seemed irritable when her mother tried to offer advice or set boundaries. By the spring of 2022, the tension between LaToya and Denise had reached a breaking point. While LaToya's fans saw the perfect life she shared online, those who knew her personally saw a very different story unfolding behind closed doors. The evening of May 12, 2022, seemed like any other for LaToya Bennett. She uploaded a new TikTok video, another vibrant and polished performance that her fans couldn't get enough of. Within hours, the video had thousands of views and hundreds of comments praising her talent. To her followers, it was just another day of LaToya living her best life. But behind the screen, there was growing turmoil that no one could see. Neighbors later reported hearing loud voices coming from the Bennett home late that night. At first, it was just muffled shouting, but then it grew louder and more intense. Some described hearing a crash, followed by an unsettling silence. Alarmed, one neighbor called the police, setting off a chain of events that would change everything. When officers arrived at the modest two-story house, the scene inside painted a grim picture. Denise Carter was found on the living room floor, unresponsive. The room showed clear signs of a violent struggle, furniture was overturned, glass was shattered, and a blood-stained rug lay in the center of the room. LaToya, sitting nearby, appeared visibly shaken. She claimed it was all an accident, but the evidence suggested otherwise. As investigators dug deeper, a troubling side of LaToya's life began to surface. Known for her love of designer handbags, luxury sneakers, and the latest gadgets, LaToya often flaunted her material possessions on TikTok. Her fans admired her style, but behind closed doors, her spending habits were a point of contention between her and her mother. Denise, who worked tirelessly as a nurse to support their household, frequently voiced concerns about LaToya's growing obsession with appearances and expensive things. Evidence found on LaToya's phone hinted at her state of mind. A draft TikTok video, never posted, showed her speaking cryptically about cutting out negativity. While it seemed innocent at first, text messages between LaToya and Denise revealed the tension brewing between them. Denise had recently confronted LaToya about overspending and the pressure it put on their family. Friends shared that LaToya felt her mother was holding her back, while Denise worried that her daughter's love for material things was overshadowing her values. The most chilling discovery came from LaToya's personal journal. In one entry, written just weeks before, she wrote, "She controls everything. Maybe it's time to take control back." Combined with the evidence, it became clear that their relationship had reached a breaking point in the days leading up to the tragic night. Was LaToya simply overwhelmed by the pressures of fame and family, or was there something deeper driving her actions? As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the truth was far more complicated than anyone had imagined. The case took a shocking turn when detectives discovered a voice memo hidden in LaToya Bennett's phone. The recording was brief but chilling. In a whisper, barely audible, LaToya could be heard saying, "I didn't want it to end like this. I just couldn't take it anymore." The sound of her voice, filled with emotion, reverberated through the courtroom when it was played during her trial. For many, it was a gut-wrenching moment, a glimpse into the turmoil LaToya had been battling before the tragedy unfolded. Witness testimony from those closest to LaToya revealed the complexity of her feelings toward her mother. A childhood friend shared that LaToya had always felt trapped under Denise's expectations. The pressure to be perfect, to maintain her public image, had taken its toll. But other accounts painted a much darker picture. Some friends spoke of a young woman obsessed with her online persona, willing to do anything to keep up the illusion of a perfect life, no matter the cost. One friend revealed a conversation she had with LaToya just days before the incident, where LaToya expressed frustration over her mother's refusal to fully support her growing social media career. "She doesn't get it. She's always on my back," LaToya reportedly said, referring to Denise's concerns about her spending and her increasing fixation on fame. Then came a piece of evidence that stunned everyone involved in the case. Forensic experts found inconsistencies in LaToya's version of events. Her story about what happened the night of May 12 didn't match the physical evidence at the scene. Blood spatter patterns, the position of the furniture, and signs of a struggle all pointed to premeditation. It wasn't just an accident or a spur-of-the-moment argument gone wrong, it suggested that LaToya had carefully planned the act, making this a much darker and more deliberate crime than anyone had originally thought. As the prosecution pieced everything together, it became clear, LaToya's drive for control, her obsession with perfection, and her growing resentment toward her mother had led her down a tragic path. The defense would soon face an uphill battle, as the evidence stacked against LaToya painted a picture of a young woman willing to sacrifice everything, even her own family, just to maintain the life she had built online. After weeks of intense testimony and deliberation, the jury reached their verdict. LaToya Bennett was found guilty of second-degree murder. The courtroom fell silent as the judge sentenced her to 25 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 15 years. LaToya's face remained somber as she spoke her final words to the court. "I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make sense of what I've done," she said, her voice trembling with regret. It was a stark admission of the weight she would carry for the rest of her life, though no apology could undo the damage she had caused. Denise Carter's family continues to grieve the loss of a woman who was described as gentle, selfless, and dedicated to her daughter's success. Friends and relatives remember her as the heart of their community, always giving of herself without asking for anything in return. Her death has left an irreplaceable void, and her story serves as a reminder of the hidden pressures that can unravel even the strongest of family bonds. Despite the public image of LaToya and Denise as a loving mother-daughter duo, the truth behind their relationship tells a different, heartbreaking story. For LaToya, the fallout from her crime rippled through the online world she had once dominated. Her fans, who had cheered her on and looked up to her, were now faced with the dark reality of the woman they had admired. The TikTok community, once filled with admiration for her talent and confidence, struggled to reconcile the girl they thought they knew with the person who had committed such an unthinkable act. LaToya's rise to fame had seemed inevitable, but her fall from grace left a permanent scar on the digital world. Now, the question remains, could things have turned out differently? What if the pressures of fame and materialism hadn't overtaken LaToya's life? And for Denise, could her unwavering love and support have saved her from the tragedy that would forever alter their story? What do you think really drove LaToya Bennett to this tragic point? Was it the relentless pressures of fame and social media, a deep-rooted conflict with her mother, or perhaps something darker that we'll never fully understand? We want to hear your thoughts. Share your theories in the comments below. If this case left you shocked and questioning everything, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more true crime stories that explore the complex, hidden truths of the human experience. Thanks for watching, and remember, always stay curious, and stay safe.